Good afternoon, Dr. Morris. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful today. How are you?
Great. Should we get started with some questions?
Sure.
All right. First up, what's essential for your morning routine?
Oh, coffee and my dogs. I probably wouldn't get out of bed if it weren't for the dogs.
Awesome. What drew you to animal science?
I was always one of those kids that my parents would have said that I brought animals into the house all the time, including my horse one day when I wanted to get something to drink. So I always loved animals, and most people assumed I was going to be a vet, and I didn't go that route, so I ended up the animal science route.
Awesome. What are some of the classes that you teach?
I teach Animal Science 224, Animal Science 424, so those are the two companion animal classes. I co-teach Animal Science 324 in the fall, and the required class, Animal Science 320, Feeds and Feeding, and I have a really cool independent study class about dog training.
Awesome. If you weren't a professor in animal science, what would you be doing?
I think when I was in high school, there was probably about a 50-50 argument from friends and family that I would either become a vet because of how much I loved animals, or I would be an actress because I was in theater.
Oh, wow.
So I would probably say if I wasn't in the animal science field, or if I wasn't teaching either high school or college, I may have gone the actress route.
And how many pets do you have?
This is the part that usually gets everybody. So we'll start with the dogs because most people usually find that really fascinating. I have 5 dogs, and I almost always am living with a foster dog. So I've got one foster dog right now. So that's 6 dogs in my house. There is one cat that has decided that she can tolerate 6 dogs in the house, so she also is there. Y'all were just in my office not too long ago, and you saw the corn snake that I have. That's Reba, the corn snake. So she lives here with me on campus in my office. And then in my barn, I have 2 quarter horses, 2 tiny little chubby horses, little mini horses, and I have 6 fainting goats, and I have 2 rabbits.
Sounds like you're pretty busy.
Yes, I stay busy with them.
And what's one thing that people don't know about you?
One thing that people don't know about me is that in high school, during my theatrical times, I was dared to do 2 things my senior year. One, try out for the high school drill team, which was the dance team that went out with the cheerleaders, and the other one was the mascot. And I actually tried out for both, actually made both, and it took me about 5 seconds to decide which one I was going to do. So my senior year, in addition to theater, I was also the school mascot.
Wow. If your life was a song, what would the title be?
Is this a song that's already like a real title song, or is this a song I'm making up as a title?
You can make it up.
Yeah, if it's totally made up, it is I'm driving around in an animal clown car.
Good answer. Why did you choose to work at Iowa State?
I got my master's degree here at Iowa State, and Iowa, short of January through April, is a really pretty fabulous place to live. I love the falls here. I love the green. I love the agriculture component of Iowa. I have family history here in Iowa, so I kind of always loved it. And Iowa State just always has a home feeling for me. It always feels like coming home.
Oh. Can you share some of the job opportunities related to companion animals?
Most people probably assume that it's always about vet school. And I think most students, when they come into animal science and they think companion animals, they think vet school, but there are a lot of other opportunities. So my background is from the zoo world, so there's kind of that direction of it. But I think the other side that I think is really exciting is also the shelter side of the industry. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of really unique opportunities in the animal sheltering industry. And a lot of really cool opportunities in that side, as well as entrepreneurship. So there's an amazing amount. 70% of American households have a dog in their house. So we spend a lot of money on dogs. So whether it's the pet food industry or it's entrepreneurship with your own business, whether it's grooming or some of those other services. Mm-hmm. So there's this whole side of the dog management world or even the cat management world, but more so on the dog side that people really don't know about.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting for current students.
Very.
And what makes you smile the most?
Probably the thing that makes me smile the most is when something gets it. And I say something because I get the same joy out of watching a student in my class really grasp something I'm trying to teach, or grasp a new skill that they've never had before. And I also get that same joy when I watch my dogs learn a new skill, or when I'm training an animal and they develop that new skill. So when an animal, actually, when I'm training an animal and they actually get it and I can see that light bulb moment, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. What's your all-time favorite food?
Chips and salsa.
Good answer. What's the biggest learning experience that you've had?
I'm glad you didn't ask if I had a moment, because it's definitely been an experience. It was probably also the most painful experience of my life. And I think we oftentimes do learn a lot from painful experiences. But my husband was diagnosed with a really rare neurological disorder, and it was terminal. And so we knew he was going to die. He knew he was going to die, but cognitively he was totally intact, and he was also really brilliant. So he took it upon himself to decide that I needed to learn some things. And he could fix anything. So I had a lot of training moments where I was sent down to the basement to locate tools, and he would describe said tools, which usually made me really mad. I wanted no part of knowing what these tools were, but he knew that I needed to learn how to do that. And probably for about 6 months or so, I had to, anything that needed fixed in the house that he would have normally done, I had to do it with him teaching me how to do it. So it was very frustrating, it was very annoying, and yet there's probably not many days that go by that I don't look up and say thank you, because he truly taught me how to be an independent woman. I just had that experience this weekend. I fixed 2 things on my camper trailer as I was de-winterizing it, and I just went, thank you. I was able to do that. So really cool moment, and I'm really, really grateful for him, and it makes me feel a lot closer to him too.
Wow, that's amazing. What's on the top of your wish list right now?
A hot tub. I want a hot tub. I want a hot tub at home.
And what's the coolest thing that you've ever taught an animal?
I always find it really cool when I compete with my dogs in agility, and so when they learn how to do, I think one of the most complicated exercises or obstacles in agility are the weave poles. They have to go through, the weave poles are set at 24 inches apart, and they have to weave those, and they do it so fast, and it's amazing. So I'm always amazed that they can learn that. But I would say probably the coolest thing was that one of my agility dogs, Ace, kind of changed careers when my husband got sick, and he became a service dog, and we taught him how to pick up all those tools. And that was probably the thing that I'm probably so far the most proud of as far as training an animal how to do.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
I have a few that kind of irritate me a little bit, but I would say that the biggest one that really gets me pretty wound up is people that, these 70% of US households that have dogs, that don't recognize that they actually have a dog, and they don't appreciate that that species has really unique needs, and they don't do right by that animal, and then they dump it at a shelter and make it somebody else's problem to fix.
What's one thing you've always wanted to do but have been too scared to try?
I really want to jump out of an airplane. I don't know that I'll ever do it because I'm terrified to do it, but I really want to parachute.
Good
Skydive.
answer. Can you name some of the different types of animals that you have worked with in your career?
A few. I've definitely worked with almost all of the livestock species except dairy cattle. I actually don't have a lot of experience with dairy cattle, but grew up with horses and show cattle and dogs and cats and the traditional. But of course in my zoo career I've worked with everything from eels to sharks to sea turtles to giraffe, elephants, clip springers, rock hyrax, red ruff lemurs, black and white ruff lemurs. Hadada ibis is probably one of my favorite. It's a bird if you don't know what that is. And I've grown a huge appreciation for all the reptiles in the world and insects, including tarantulas.
Wow, you are really well versed in the animal kingdom. You're eating dinner at a fancy restaurant. What are you going to order?
Steak and shrimp.
Good answer. If you could switch lives with a person for a day, who would it be?
This one's hard for me because I have a hard time like picking one person. What I would really love to be able to do, and it would be terrifying, I think it would be terrifying, I would actually like to switch places with women in different time periods. I always thought it would be fascinating to be in the life of a woman that was a Native American in the 1800s, or a woman in the Pioneer or Renaissance. I would like to experience what that life was like, and I really only want to do it for one day.
What are some opportunities available for students to learn more about companion animals outside of class?
Volunteer. Most of the time in my companion animal classes, I tell students that I've had the wonderful opportunity to get to work with a lot of zookeepers and get to train a lot of different types of animals. But truly the most difficult animal you'll ever train is a dog, because cognitively they've evolved with us, and socially they're so much like us. So there's a lot more emotion, and there's a lot more you have to understand about the dog because they're so incredibly connected to us. So anytime a student has the opportunity to work with dogs in a lot of different capacities, you're going to learn so much more about not only training the dogs, but training other animals, whether it's cats or whether you want to go train pigs or cows or horses. It all crosses over. The way the brain works is the same. So volunteering in shelters is incredible to really understand what happens when dogs sort of socially get disconnected from people and have issues. Dog daycare facilities are usually looking for really great students, or boarding facilities are looking for really great students for internships or summer opportunities. So those would be the two big ones. And then if you're interested in a lot of different animals, I got interested in nutrition, so it kind of opened up a lot of opportunities for me with a lot of different species. But look at zoos. Internships at zoos are pretty plentiful and absolutely worth every moment of your time, because you cannot put that experience into a classroom or into a lab.
Yep. If you could tell your college-age self one thing, what would it be?
Breathe. Slow down. You don't have to have it figured out right now. The trajectory of your life is going to change based on life experiences and people that come into your life and people that go out of your life.
Yeah.
So just slow down and breathe.
Awesome. And our last question for today, what are you doing tomorrow?
I'm really excited. I am competing with two of my dogs tomorrow in agility.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time this afternoon, Dr. Morris.
You are very welcome. Thank you for all the fun questions. You guys have a good day.